Hey, it's Mark, and I'm back here to talk to you about professional wrestling yet again. Uh, Having a lot of great response from my prior videos, and that I've got no response whatsoever. So, hey, why mess with something that cost me absolutely no money? So, this installment, basically what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of posts I put up on the tube, is a ranking system for WWE. Uh, for some reason, I don't know why. Um, Sometimes I go to other websites and talk about wrestling, and on them they're like, oh, this guy's a top five WWE guy, and this guy's and the same person says this over and over and over again until they have a top five mixed up with like 13 people. We're no longer going to be doing that here on this show, which doesn't have a name. So what I've done is I've taken the entire WWE roster, removed all the divas because I don't care about them, and not counting NXT rookies from season 2, and put everybody else in order. Uh, this is based not on pure works in the ring and the bell ring stuff. Also trying to take into account uh, some of their personalities and some of that stuff, because a lot of times trying to make a differentiation between certain guys is so needle thin that you're splitting hairs. So basically, if I can't think of a reason why this guy's better than this guy, I might pick something out that's not ring related, like not work related. Um, in which case, but for the most part, we're talking this guy is better in the ring than this guy. Okay? So there came out to be 54, 55, actually 55 guys in here. One group, I put the Usos together. Spoiler alert, because I can't tell them apart, wrestling wise. And if you can, good for you. Not your list. Pardon me. Sorry. There it goes. So, number 54 comes up to be one Mr. David Otunga. That's right, David Otunga is the worst guy in the WWE roster. If you haven't noticed, he stinks. He is not really good at anything. He doesn't bump well. He doesn't sell well. He doesn't have good offense. First guy with big muscles, he's not particularly strong in a way that's impressive. You can tell this by the way he barely gets people up for his spine buster thing. You can tell this because he doesn't have any power spots that actually make him look strong. His suplexes are all just up and over, not stalling in any way, shape, or form. So, he's the worst guy in the roster. His strength that he had displayed during NXT Season 1 was that he could talk a little bit, and he had a decent character that he could build off of. Since joining Nexus, those things have gone away. He doesn't talk all that much, and when he does, it's not anything memorable. It's not showing off that he's smarter than anybody else, or that he's better than other people. It's just that he is talking, being generic Nexus thug number 5. He's not good at this thing. We basically swallowed up what was at all good about him, which wasn't much, and made him worse off for it. So that makes David Otunga number 54. Number 53, not shocking to anybody, will be the Great Khali. The Great Khali is big. That's what he's good at. He's good at being big. He doesn't have any other skills. He's too awkward, not all that strong when you think about it. Can't move. So, yeah, I mean, unless you have somebody in the ring with the Great Khali who can bump for him like a freak, like a John Cena, he's not going to get over. So, the vast majority of the time, he's not going to look all that super great. And that's unfortunate for no reason. So, moving right along, we go to number 52, Vladimir Kozlov. Vladimir Kozlov is, again, awkward guy. He's strong, somewhat effective as a hot tag with Santino, but otherwise he doesn't have a whole lot of value that I'm seeing. The Sambo stuff could be interesting in that he's not a kick punching guy, but it looks off. It looks awkward. Like his savate kicks are to the chest, not to the head, which is alright, I guess. But it's not all that. It's not tight. He's not. He's really loose in that it doesn't look like he's hitting a guy effectively. It looks like the guy who's taking the bump is doing all the work. And when when you're working that sort of thing effectively, the guy doesn't have to work as hard to make you look so devastating. So Vladimir Kozlov, number 52. Moving on to number 51, Joey Mercury. And the reason Joey Mercury is so low is because I forgot Joey Mercury existed. I was making this list, I ran up everybody, I freaking didn't forget Kalen Croft, I didn't forget Vance Archer. No, I forgot Joey Mercury. Why? Well, again with the burping, he doesn't stand out at all. At one point I was said, hey, he's the better worker of Eminem, and I think he was at the time. He was the mechanic, he was the guy who came in to fill the time, while Joe Morrison would come in and do the hot tag, not do the hot tag, but would do the spots where a guy would get more, they'd get more reaction out of. Joey Mercury now, as the bald thug in the Straight Edge Society, has no personality. He's like mini-me to Luke Gallows. And from a character standpoint, that's nothing. Because Luke is a second banana that makes Joey a third, if he's lucky. Before Serena got fired, he was clearly the fourth person in the thing. And he was better off being in the mask, which is sad. But since being unmasked, he's been even less of something that you look forward to. I don't see anything in Joe Mercury that makes me go, ooh, I can see this. That's why he's number 51. Number 50, Mr. JTG. Since Crime Time broke up, JTG has lost all his edge, all his interest, and all his ability to work effectively. He's not cut out to be a single at this point in his career. He's not. He's better off being in a tag where he can hide himself a bit more and work comebacks off hot tag, which is easier than coming off of just trying to twist around himself. The vast majority of his offense is him falling to the canvas and grabbing a guy and taking them with him. So like his finisher is like a reverse bulldog, where he sort of grabs a guy and sort of falls with him. The mugshot, I think it is. He's got a name for every move he has. None of them are any good. Where he's like he's doing the 10-punch count along, grabs by the head, and falls backwards. That's like all of his offense, and none of it looks particularly good. He's pretty uninteresting in that way, and quite frankly, there's not a whole lot there that will keep him around for all that long. So, number 49, and I think this is where we're going to have our controversy for this section of the list, and that's because we're picking Edge here. If you haven't noticed from what I do, I don't hate anybody. I'm not like, oh god, motherfucking Edge, I want to kill Edge. I just can't stand him. He sucks. No, I don't do that. I have a pretty even keel about pretty much everything. The thing about Edge is that he blows. And that's the thing. As a main event guy, he's really, really awful. Because he doesn't do anything particularly well. He's kind of solid. Since coming back from injury, he works at about 3/4 speed of the normal person, so he can't even run in in a sprint and make his spear look good, which is the worst main event finish there is outside of the Wasteland, which they're kind of running neck and neck. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the running hug of death. You know about the running hug, and you've been there before. The thing I like about WWE is that when you're thinking about their characters, they create a hierarchy. So and they're good at particular things. So John Cena can take a lot of punishment and come back really quickly. The Undertaker is the best striker. Chris Jericho is the best counter wrestler. Rey Mysterio is the quickest. Edge doesn't do anything particularly well. He doesn't have anything that makes him say, okay, if Edge turns this into a, let's say, technical contest, he will win. Because I don't feel that way about him wrestling anybody in any category. Unless the person is like Evan Bourne and you're like, oh, he can beat up Evan Bourne. No. Yeah, okay, but that's Evan Bourne's thing. Everyone's supposed to be able to beat him up. In this case, we're talking about a guy who's in the main event who can't realistically come out and say, I'm going to do this and win. He doesn't have that skill, he doesn't have that ability, and that's why, at this point, he's number 49. And we have a whole lot of more wrestlers to go. So you tune in for part 2, coming up to you shortly.